championship.
And the Green family figures very prominently for Laurel, Delaware. The dad is an assistant coach, and there's Logan and Reagan, the sisters, who are stars, and they're both pitchers.
They're both pitchers. They're both very good pitchers. Logan is getting the start. She's more of a junk ball pitcher. She's going to place the pitches on the corner. Her sister, she's more of a power pitcher. You're going to see her with velocities a little bit higher. The two of them, a great 1-2 punch for this Delaware team. They're going to need to be strong in the circle to have an opportunity to be a very good offensive Puerto Rico team.
And Delaware should have. Let's take a look at the defense for Delaware. Logan Green does indeed get the start in the circle. Aaron Johnson is the pitcher. Alexis Hudson out there in center field, also probably the most talkative player on the team. We might be able to hear her right here behind home plate. As this team from Laurel, Delaware has had 3 straight wins in the 7th inning, and the 7th inning is the end of regulation in softball. So Logan Green gets the start. She did pitch 2 innings the last time that Delaware played in the World Series final a couple of years ago. Now she's the starter.
And we talked that Logan Green is more of a junk ball pitcher, so placement and movement is going to be very important. She throws a fastball, a curveball, and a changeup. She's going to need to mix speeds, allow her defense behind her to help. If we see her sister later on in the game, Reagan, she's a little bit more of a power pitcher. But Logan, it's going to be all about location, 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 and good defensive efforts behind her. The other thing, Pam, that's really important is free passes. Limit the walks, the hit by pitch, the errors defensively. Make Puerto Rico earn their way on base. That's going to make it a lot harder for Puerto Rico to put runs up on the board.
So far, Logan Green is 1-0. She has given up 8 walks to go with 25 strikeouts. Her sister Reagan has 4 wins, in part because of those 3 straight 7th inning victories. She's come in relief and has gotten the win. Anira Diaz stepping up first for Puerto Rico, and as Michelle mentioned, this is a team you're going to see. They love to lay down the bunt. We already see pinching in at the corners, Whaley at third and Collins at first. Keep the ball, put the ball in motion.
Put the ball in play, try to move the defense. Anytime you have the defense in motion, it makes it a little bit more difficult for them to do their job.
That one is lifted just foul, and there you see Sarah Jo Whaley, the third baseman, playing in. Had she been back perhaps in her natural position at third, she might have had a chance at making that catch.
Well, positioning is very important. The higher level of softball that you get, positioning, knowing your opponent basically, but also being able to read your battery and where they're pitching hitters will help you position.
0-2 pitch on the way. Also out of play. Diaz second for Puerto Rico in hitting during this World Series, hitting .368. She has a couple of doubles. And she is facing another 0-2 pitch. That one is laced into right field, but good positioning that time. Bethany Wheatley with the easy catch for the first out. Well, Puerto Rico's only loss during this tournament, it started out with 10 teams, by the way, was a loss. District 3 is this team, District 3 Delaware. That came on Thursday. They only given up 7 runs, 5 of them earned. They've stolen 12 bases, and they had a spectacular effort beating a team from Cape Coral, Florida yesterday in a one-hitter. Good play by the first baseman, Kristen Collins, to retire Marianne Rodriguez for the second out. And you notice that Logan Green is wearing a face mask in the circle. And you were a pitcher, and we were talking to the Green sisters yesterday, and both of them say they have been hit by batted balls through the circle, and that's why they're going with the face mask. It's not mandatory.
It is not mandatory, but a lot of the young pitchers are wearing them. A lot of parents want their pitchers wearing those defensive guards for a little bit of extra protection. A lot of that has to do, Pam, with the technology. Bats are very hot nowadays. The balls are very hard. And as a pitcher, you start at 40 or 43 feet, depending on what age level you're playing at. 6 to 7 foot stride. You're releasing the ball at about 38 feet. Not a lot of reaction time.
Good reaction time. That time, Logan Green gets Carlos Lozada's screamer. It is a 1-2. For the second time in 3 years, Laurel is playing for the championship. They are hitting a sparkling .340. 2 on, 1 away, and here is Logan Green, the pitcher and the cleanup hitter. For Delaware, time is called. So this is a player after Michelle Smith's own heart.
That's right.
Starting pitcher and a cleanup hitter.
Love it. Love those pitchers that can do more than just perform in that circle.
She's not going to have any designated player go in there for her. Logan hitting .429 during this series. Also going to Laurel High School, she will be joined by her younger sister Reagan, who will be entering high school, and they'll be able to play high school softball together starting next year. And that one is laced to the third baseman, Diaz, who makes a nice play. Logan Green in the circle, putting on that protective mask, getting ready to face Puerto Rico. She was able to mow him down 1-2-3 in the first inning. Green in her final year of eligibility. Players in this senior division are 13 to 16, but some of them have subsequently turned 17 years of age, including Green. Yehelis Munoz, the catcher, the most dangerous hitter on this Puerto Rican team, steps in. Hitting .421 during this World Series. Had a chance to talk to her yesterday. And this is a player you're familiar with, Michelle, because she has won the last 2 years World Series that you have done.
Exactly. This team from Puerto Rico is very talented.
Ullman
ended up winning that championship.
Carla Garcia now stepping in for Puerto Rico. In fact, Munoz, when we sat down and talked to her last night, Michelle wasn't there at the time, and she just looked at us and said, "Where's Michelle?" She looked at me like, "Who are you? Get Michelle in here." I was very excited with the interaction she had with you. On the nose and into the glove of the left.
The last second, you never know what's going to fall in your glove.
Puerto Rico has yet to get a runner on base as Ketsi Rodriguez steps in, playing left field this afternoon. That one is hit out of play down the left field line. This Puerto Rican team from Mounabo, Puerto Rico, beat Cape Coral, Florida last night 5-0 on a one-hitter. Delcinine De Leon was brilliant in that game. Took a no-hitter into the fifth.
11 strikeouts. Yeah, she was just on fire. And you have to wonder at some point, because of the Little League rules where if you throw more than a certain number of innings, you have to have a game off and a day's rest. So therefore, she's ineligible to be able to throw today. Coaches a lot of times will split their pitching staff up so that they can use and keep all of their pitchers.
Throw down the first. Rodriguez is retired. Logan Green has faced 6 batters and gotten all of them out so far. Getting ready for the top of the third, Delaware leading Puerto Rico 1-0. And there are the 2 teams that fell in the semis yesterday, a team from Florida as well as a team from South Bend, Indiana. Logan Green going strong in the circle for Delaware.
I'm Logan Green. I'm from Delaware District 3. This is how I hold my fastball. And this is how I hold my curveball.
All right, Michelle Smith, one of the most successful pitchers in history. Talk about those grips we just saw.
Well, the fastball, she's holding that across the smile, what we like to say. It's a 4-seam fastball. It's going to have a tendency to drop or dip down. That's actually the way a lot of pitchers throw their actual drop ball. I throw my fastball on the 2 seams. Her curveball, same thing. She splits her fingers. She throws that pitch with her fingers on the 2 closest seams, and then will cut across her body to get that late, sharp movement. So the key really is not always as much how you hold it, but how you snap the ball. You have to experiment with the way you grip the ball or you hold the ball. But what's really important as well is that snap. Make sure that you have the proper snap and get your body in that proper position. Pitching is doing a lot of key elements correctly all at the same time.
Figueroa is up, and it's a soft liner to Ullman for the first out. And like most pitchers these days, she has a private pitching coach along with her sister Reagan. Let's break it down, Michelle.
Well, Logan does a really good job of, look at her load right there. Explosive off of the pitching rubber. Nice getting that drive leg down. I'd like to see her use her back leg a little bit more. You can see the way she drives or picks up that back leg instead of pushing it into her front side. I'm a stickler on mechanics. I'm all about hip angle and getting the most out of your body, getting you to be as efficient as possible. Efficiency means less energy in, most power out. It's just like a car engine. The more efficient it is, the less energy or the less gas it's going to eat, the more power it's going to give you.
That's a good man.
Green now pitching to Sanchez, the center fielder, up for the first time today, because I know working with you several times, you talk about angles, and you can get very precise, right? Like 38 to 42 degrees or something like that, right? I mean, that's very precise for a hip angle.
Yeah, 52 degrees is about what we want. 45 to 52 degrees.
All right, 45 to 52.
There you go. Got to have those numbers just right. Because what happens is it takes the most amount of stress off of your shoulder. And a lot of kids, their hip angle is off, and because their hip angle is off, they end up having shoulder problems. And that's where my concern is. Yes, you're not always going to be as successful if your hip angle isn't correct, but most importantly, you're going to injure yourself, and that's what I don't want to see.
Same thing. Breathe, not too deep, breathe.
And oftentimes in top-level softball, the pitcher's legs will get tired before their arm does.
Correct.
Martinez, the designated hitter, takes a ball.
Well, and the legs are the strongest part of a woman's body, so really if you use your legs and your hips efficiently, you're going to get the most amount of power and energy, and you're going to protect the shoulder, and that's really what it's all about. The arm becomes a pendulum when your hip angle is correct. When your hip angle is over-rotated or your hips are closed while your arm is behind your body, that's called an impingement, and that's when you see a lot of kids have back problems, have shoulder surgery. And those are the issues we want to avoid. That's why Little League does a really good job of protecting their athletes and making sure they only can throw so many innings a day, as well as have to have a day's and a game's rest before they can throw again. I like to see that.
One ball.
And it has been the Green sisters, Logan and Reagan, who have been splitting the time on this team really all year, and especially here in this tournament. Alyssa Gibbons flipping it over in 3 innings. And Green has yet to give up a hit. Laurel still up 1-0.
Hands it, picks it up, throws it to first. That's why she gets the out.
So 2 away, nobody on. Logan Green, the starting pitcher, who reached on a fielder's choice and was stranded back in the first inning. Did pitch the last 2 innings in the 2009 final here, a game in which Louisiana came back to win. She says, I was younger back then, so to her 2 years ago it wasn't that big of a deal. Now as a 16-year-old in her final opportunity, she says she's really pumped up for this one, has been pumped up all week, and that is the second batter that Rivera has hit this afternoon.
And in the same spot, you can see it's going to get Logan right in the shin.
And the team from Laurel, Delaware, just 40 minutes away from this ballpark, has won the Senior League Softball Championship. Bradley, their manager, born and raised in Laurel in a great softball-baseball family. And the Green sisters pitch him to a title.
Well, they finally have that championship, and you can tell they are excited to come out on the winning side of this game as opposed to 2009 when they lost that heartbreaker.
So Logan Green, Whitney Toldvine, Aaron Johnson on the runners-up a couple of years ago. They are champions, helped by Reagan Green, 14 years of age, coming into the circle in relief in the 4th inning and shutting down this very talented Puerto Rico team to win it by the final of 2-0. Sanchez down 0-2 and then struck out by Reagan Green to end it. The team from Laurel, Delaware, your champions, winning it 2-0. We will have more when we come back.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
Thank you very much, Bradley, who is a Laurel, Delaware native. Played for 2 years in the Texas Rangers organization at Little League Field, named for his grandfather in Laurel. What a great day for the town of Laurel, Delaware. But a couple of kids from Hebron, Maryland, right over the border. The Green sisters, Logan and Reagan, combining in the circle to shut out this potent Puerto Rico team 2-0. to win the championship of Senior League softball.